Welcome to our Cork Unitarian Church Sunday service. And today's Sunday thoughts will be on the topic of happiness. After all, at this time of year, we are all wishing each other Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays. So let's just reflect a bit on the topic of happiness. Every year, a group that includes Gallup polls, the Oxford Wellbeing Research Center, and the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network releases the results of a global survey called the World Happiness Report. That report ranks different countries in terms of happiness. The scores are based on weighted averages that include both objective and subjective measurements. The objective measurements include gross domestic product per person and the average life expectancy. The subjective measurements include perceptions of social support, freedom, generosity, and corruption. So, happiness, by this report's definition, is a combination of income, healthy life expectancy, having someone to count on in times of trouble, generosity, freedom, and trust, with the latter measured by the absence of corruption in business and in government. If I were to make that definition of happiness a little less technical, I might rephrase it to say, happiness is a state of mind characterized by positive emotions, a sense of purpose, and a feeling of fulfillment. And it is my pleasure to share with you that in this year's report, Ireland did rather well. Ireland ranked a respectable 18th place, slightly below Austria, Canada, and Belgium, and slightly ahead of the Czech Republic, Lithuania, and the UK. It may not surprise you to learn that the Nordic countries typically dominate the top 10 positions, and that the first place position for the past 10 years has been held by Finland. So there might be an important lesson to be learned by asking what it is that Finnish people are doing right. After all, it's nice and good to wish each other a Happy New Year and let it go at that. But if we actually knew the secret to happiness that consistently puts Finland in first place, then we could wish each other that secret for 2025. Now, fortunately for my family, we happen to have a Finnish house guest for Christmas dinner. Now, we all enjoyed some lovely conversations about life and living, and I even refrained from trying to make our guest reveal any Finnish state secrets about happiness and how they maintain first place. But I did come away with a perspective that there is a pervasive worldview that is commonly held in Finland, which contributes greatly to their collective sense of happiness. A little bit of follow-up research on my own led me to a core Finnish concept associated with a deceptively simple word, sisu, which technically means interior. But the Finnish etymology of the word sisu literally means guts or intestines. And in early times, Finnish folk wisdom held that one's guts were the source of strong emotions. In modern English, we might use the term guts or intestinal fortitude to try to convey an equivalent meaning to the Finnish word sisu. But that would be incomplete. We would only be describing a character attribute and not a nationally admired approach to life. In Finnish culture, sisu is used so much that it's an overloaded term. Sisu can mean stoic determination, hardiness, courage, bravery, willpower, tenacity, and resilience. Sisu defies simple objective definitions, in part because people use it to describe diverse and complex situations. For example, the Finnish success against the Soviets during the 1940 Winter War is closely associated with the concept of sisu. Sisu is not always considered to be an entirely positive quality. In Finland, a hostile or malignant person is described as possessing bad sisu. Too much sisu diminishes self-awareness and is associated with bullheadedness, foolhardiness, self-centeredness, and inflexible thinking. Researchers have actually studied what Finnish people think they mean by sisu. So, while at times sisu can be thought of as the ability to pursue long-term goals and be persistent, a more common perception of sisu among Finnish people is as a reserve of power, which enables extraordinary action to overcome mentally or physically challenging situations. Now, some people in Finland are evenly divided on the notion as to whether some people are born with more or less capacity for sisu. But the great majority of Finnish people believe that sisu is a flexible quality that can be cultivated through conscious practice, and most Finnish people are interested in developing their own capacity for sisu. Sisu has even gone international, and the term sisu has been adopted in the discipline of positive psychology. In positive psychology, sisu has been described as a psychological key competence which enables extraordinary action to overcome a mentally or physically challenging situation. Sisu also contributes to what has been named the action mindset, and that is a consistent, courageous approach towards challenges which at first seem to exceed our capabilities. So, as a New Year's gift to everyone listening, instead of simply wishing you a Happy New Year, I'm going to share 3 tips which researchers have identified for increasing your own sisu in this new year. First, prioritize pro-social aspirations and goals. Sisu doesn't only live within the individual, but it multiplies in the space between people, even in the imagined presence of another person. Sisu increases when we all lean in and work together. So, when you're about to step into a new challenge or need to muster strength to endure, find a way to connect your efforts to people or a greater goal that matters to you. This could be a famous person, a mentor, or family member, living or dead, anyone who inspires you. Second, integrate sisu into your everyday life through learning, training, and practice. Sisu that you have developed in one situation or through one method can be applied in other situations. This is because we're talking about character development. So pick something that suits you and that you will stick with. For example, common sisu development practices in Finland include quiet time in nature and ice swimming. Third, take a balanced approach to sisu that is both pragmatic and sustainable. Sisu is never a matter of individual win at all costs. Too much focus on sisu without self-awareness and counterbalancing activities can have harmful outcomes. This might include burnout, poor decision making, reduced work well-being, and harm to our relationships through mercilessness, disconnection, and compromised teamwork. Your training and development goals need to be challenging, yet realistic. And don't allow your mental focus to shut out your peripheral awareness and create tunnel vision. So, on behalf of all of us here at Cork Unitarian Church, I am wishing you a very happy new year, and I hope you are able to build up your sisu in 2025. And for any of you who are local to Cork City, we will be holding our first in-person Sunday fellowship meeting since the fire in January. This will be held on Sunday, the 26th of January at 11 a.m. in the Civic Trust House on Pope's Quay in Cork City. Look for more details on our Facebook page. Until then, I wish you all peace and blessings.